Good evening and welcome to today's newspaper analysis, the Roznama. Now, today in news, we have two very important things that we have to keep in mind. One is that the Federal Court of America, the Supreme Court, it has declared Trump's tariffs absolutely illegal, and they've asked him to scrap these tariffs. And they've pointed to the facts that Trump or the executive of America is not empowered to do so. It is only the Congress meaning the Parliament of the United States of America, that has been given the power to undertake imposition of any sort of tariffs. So this is the most important piece of news today. And then naturally, this particular news also draws attention to another significant thing that has been happening for the past 1 week, and that is India-US trade deal. All right. So as of now, Donald Trump has basically issued a statement saying that the trade deals stay put with India, and there is no change in the trade deal as of now. And also, when the Supreme Court has put a halt on these imposition of tariffs, calling it beyond the capacities or power that have been given to the executive as per the Constitution of USA, Trump has also, showed his regrets on the Supreme Court, considering reciprocal tariffs as not one of the most important agendas that must be undertaken in USA to ensure that US comes back on track in terms of import and export with various countries, and the entire trade deficit that US is actually suffering from reduces. Okay. So this has been one thing that you have to keep in mind. The second thing that is now going to take place. Now, for example, for the past 1 or 2 days, we did take up bilateral talks with France, where the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, he was in India to participate in the AI Impact Summit. Similarly, we also had the Brazilian president, Lula da Silva, who was also in India to participate in this. Now, during the AI Impact Summit, our Prime Minister did undertake bilateral meetings with the French president. Now we are to undertake a bilateral meeting with the Brazilian president. All right. And here we will be talking about things like trade, defense, etc. All right. This is Lula da Silva's second visit to India. The first visit was in 2023 when he had come to attend the G20 summit, which was held under the chairmanship of India back then, and now he's here for the second time, and they will be talking about majorly along lines of increasing trade between the two countries and also defense deals. All right. Then this is a particular, personal interview sort of a thing that was undertaken with Lula da Silva. Do keep his entire name in mind. His entire name being Louis Inácio Lula da Silva. All right. Full names are very important for your Clat exam. They tend to play around the names of leaders of other countries, specifically looking into their spellings in the exam. So this is one thing that you must keep in mind. And he was for a 4-day visit for this particular country. Then this is one very important thing that he's highlighted, which is that right now the entire global world has entered into the fourth industrial revolution, or the age of artificial intelligence. All right. Now, previously, when industrialization actually took place and the first industrial revolution came into existence in the 17th, 18th century, then it was mostly the developed countries, and specifically Britain back then, who had major control over industries and industrialization. They had colonized industrialization as well. Now he has drawn contrast to that same thing, and he said that we must avoid a new form of colonialism. That is, we must avoid technological and artificial intelligence or digital colonialism. All right, which is a very good thing given today, where everybody is fighting for a multi-world global order. So he also draws inspiration from the same thing, and he's actually talking about like how India talked about, and yesterday only, day before yesterday, India had launched Manav. That is the basic vision for fostering equitable access to artificial intelligence, not only to the developed countries, but also to the developing countries. All right. And then I think 2-3 days back, there was also an article where India was trying to vouch for democratization of artificial intelligence. Democratization of artificial intelligence also implies the same thing, that the countries, they must work to ensure that artificial intelligence is made available to each and every country, and more so the poorer sections, the poorer countries in the world, they must be made adept to draw benefits from harnessing artificial intelligence and the like technology. All right. Then also this year we have the chairmanship of BRICS. So India will be hosting the BRICS summit also this year. Earlier in the year, India launched the BRICS logo, which is a lotus with 8 petals and a namaste in the center. The logo has been launched, the theme has been launched, and the website also has been launched. All right. Then this another one very important is that India has joined PAX Silica. So PAX Silica was actually launched in December 2025, and this year it was formalized. India formally has become a part of it yesterday. All right. Now, what is PAX Silica? PAX Silica is a US-led alliance which seeks to undertake harnessing of critical minerals and rare earth elements, which are the basic raw material in artificial intelligence and in semiconductors. Semiconductors today are very, very critical because they form the raw material to harnessing renewable sources of energy. And every country in the world as of now is trying to transition from their intense dependence on non-renewable sources of energies like fossil fuels to renewable sources of energy. So solar panels, windmills, tidal rotators, etc. They all make use electronic vehicles, batteries. They all make use of semiconductors. All right. So given this scenario, this is a major significant step for India to become a part of PAX Silica. Okay. Now, PAX Silica, the term PAX is a Latin word which implies peace. Okay. And silica here is the basic raw material that is used in manufacture of semiconductors. Now, what is the significance of this PAX Silica is that all countries are more or less highly dependent on China for importing raw materials such as critical minerals and rare earth elements. So US naturally does not have very good relations with China, and India also is trying to reduce its dependence on China when it comes to importing such raw materials. So India also in the budget this year had outlined rare earth elements corridor, which sought to establish a corridor in 4 states to harness these rare earth elements. The 4 states being Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala. Okay. And why did we do this? We only did this so that we could reduce our import dependencies on China with respect to critical minerals. Okay. And now India has joined this. So India is also now a part of global supply chain mechanisms. All right. So it is a good initiative. India, as it is, has undertaken various initiatives for this, like the rare earth mineral element corridors. We've also undertaken the critical mineral mission 2 years back, which is still going on. Then other than this, we have also tried to undertake our own indigenous build-up of semiconductors. We've built up we undertake that semicon conferences every year. Last year, we built our first microprocessor, which was Vikram 3201. So all these things have been undertaken by India effectively in this year, because naturally we are also effectively trying to transition from too much dependence on non-renewable sources of energies to renewable sources of energy. All right. And then India has done fairly well also in achieving its 2030 goals that India had set up as per the Paris Agreement. Also, India has a target to achieve net zero carbon emission by 2070. Okay. So along all of that lines, joining PAX Silica is very, very imperative and important for India. Okay. So all these articles are on Pax Silica. Okay, then coming to the next one, the Gujarat government has passed on another order which says that in terms of registration of a marriage or getting married into your own choice, a person, that girl or that boy will require parental consent. Okay, so Gujarat government moves to make parent consent must in marriage, that you can't get married to anybody without your parents' consent. It is naturally targeting love marriages, but otherwise also even for arranged marriages where you obviously have your parental consent. Parental consent in terms of marriages mandatory. Bid violates court rulings. What are these court rulings? The court has reinterpreted Article 21, which basically is the fundamental right to life and personal liberty. So under Article 21, there is a provision that every individual has the freedom of choice to marry someone of their own choice. Okay, so this has been extended as a fundamental right by the courts. Now with inclusion of this particular provision in Gujarat, this naturally derogates or is against Article 21's interpretation that everybody, it's a fundamental right of people to marry out of their own choice in the country. Okay. So to go through this, they've also proposed a system that the marriage registration application must be submitted with signatures of both parties and 2 witnesses. The application must be legally notarized and must be accompanied by proof of identity, etc., etc. Now, the real purpose to do this is naturally that Gujarat has cited examples saying that there were innumerable cases of what the government now terms as love jihad. That is, a lot of young women are coerced into getting married to a person, a boy of some other caste, of some other religion. And in order to get married to that person in that religion, you have to change your religion. You have to get converted into another religion. So this is love jihad, that on the pretext of getting married, you get somebody to change their religion. All right. So the government has cited examples, cases of love jihad being practiced in the country. So in the state to a greater extent, and that is why they have brought in this particular provision that parental consent is necessary. Okay. All right. Then with the conclusion of the AI Impact Summit yesterday, it was joined by a large number of countries participated in it, and the conclusion of the AI Impact Summit was brought in through the Delhi Declaration, which basically gives us India's vision and roadmap to a equitable and democratized use of artificial intelligence in today's global order. And 70 nations backed the Delhi Declaration, which is a major feat. And just a few hours back, I also read a news piece which said that around 80 nations have backed it. Okay, so go through it. It is important. Then a wonderful initiative, the Indian Railways, they have launched many AI-enabled apps to undertake better grievance redressal, like Rail Madad, Coach Mitra, Rail One app, Center for Railway Information Systems, CRIS, then generation of optimized and automated loco links, coaching crew and link management systems, and track management systems. All right, innumerable initiatives have been launched by the railway ministries to incorporate artificial intelligence in to ensure effective grievance redressal. Okay. Okay. Then the center has notified a panel to clear pending Citizenship Amendment Act applications in Bengal. All right. Now, why has this come? It has come into picture because of one particular community, which is known as the Matua community. Okay. The Matua community, they basically belong to Bangladesh. And because as of now, we have the SIR that is being undertaken in the country. and a lot of people belonging to the Matwa community. It is a Hindu community only. The Matwa community is a Hindu community, and the people of the Matwa community, they have or they wanted citizenship in the country so that they could get themselves registered as voters. All right. So the center, in lieu of this, has asked for to form a committee to look into the implementation of Citizenship Amendment Act in West Bengal. Now, what is this Citizenship Amendment Act? This Citizenship Amendment Act was undertaken in 2019, and this particular Citizenship Amendment Act seeks to give citizenship to illegal migrants from other countries, and specifically illegal migrants from Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh. All right, from these three communities, they seek to give extend citizenship to illegal migrants from these three countries, and not to all illegal migrants belonging to 6 major religious communities: Hindus, Jains, Buddhists, Parsis, Christians, and Sikhs. All right, they have exempted Muslims from this particular Citizenship Act. Exemption is here does not imply that Muslims from these countries will not be given citizenship in India. Exemption here simply implies that their citizenship period has been reduced from 11 years to 6 years. ठीक है, 11 से 6 साल कर दिया गया है. मतलब a person belonging to these communities from these regions, they have to live in India for consecutively 6 years, and then they can apply for citizenship. As against this, previously they had to live consecutively for 11 years in the country, and then they could apply for citizenship, which the Muslims still have to do. All right. So this was back then interpreted as the government is trying to do away with the citizenship of the already residing Muslims in the country, the Muslims who are already Indian nationals, and due to which there were massive protests in the country back then, and due to which significant implementation of the act was restricted in certain areas. So as of now, in West Bengal, the Mamata Banerjee government was absolutely against its implementation because it did not look into the welfare of everybody equitably. And now the center has directed for establishment of a committee to look into the implementation of the Citizenship Amendment Act. Okay. All right. Now, as of now, in Geneva, US and Iran, they are undertaking talks to bring about to a conclusive end the entire, differences, tensions that arose between them in the backdrop of enriching uranium on the part of Iran in Iran and developing nuclear facilities, which was not liked by USA. And as of now, they are trying to bring to a conclusive end their entire differences. All right. Now, this article basically talks about that how the US-Iran conflict could actually impact the global oil supply, and specifically also the article naturally gives us a little bit insights into how it could impact India. Okay. Now, what is the basic provision? What is the problem here? The problem here is that we have this one particular choke point, which is known as the Strait of Hormuz. Okay. So this Strait of Hormuz, it connects the Persian Gulf and the Oman Gulf, Gulf of Oman, and these two regions, they are significantly surrounded by countries which have which are inclusive of countries who are major producers of oil, and Iran controls 7 out of the 8 small islands around the Strait of Hormuz, and Iran is as of now trying to block the entire strait, which is going to impact the import and export of oil from these countries to the other world. And India is a massive importer of oil because our economy is highly dependent on fossil fuel as of now. We are still transitioning to renewable sources of energy. And in such a backdrop, if the Strait of Hormuz is blocked, then naturally our oil imports are going to suffer. Okay. This is what the article talks about. Okay, then another article, you can go through it, is a fairly simple one that basically says that although the Supreme Court of USA, they have said that US can't undertake, Trump cannot undertake all of these import duty, tariffs, etc. under economic emergency law, which is also called International Emergency Economic Powers Act. They said that the Congress, when the Congress grants the power to impose tariffs, only then can the executive do so, but the executive cannot do so alone. All right, but then again, Trump is still out and giving statements like the deals with India, etc., are still going to be on table. So you can go through this article. This is a good one, gives you a good insight. Okay, then another article on simultaneous polls, and as of now, the simultaneous polls and elections are being its entire provisions and the bill that was tabled and passed under the recommendation of a committee headed by Ramnath Kovind is right now undertaken by a joint parliamentary committee. This joint parliamentary committee is headed by PP Chaudhary, all right, and PP Chaudhary is also suggesting that simultaneous elections are a must for India, and this simultaneous elections must be undertaken in India. All right, I have given you good explanations on simultaneous elections on the previous newspaper analysis as well, so I can go there and revise it. Okay, all right, then since September 2025, Donald Trump has been outlining a 20-point Gaza peace plan, and in lieu of that, in accordance with the 20-point Gaza peace plan, Donald Trump also brought into existence the Gaza Board of Peace. All right, as of now, it is Gaza Board of Peace, and this Board of Peace undertook its first meeting yesterday. India was also given an invitation to be a part of the Gaza Board of Peace, but India stayed away from it. And yesterday, India was present in the meeting, but India was present there as an observer state and did not participate as a full-fledged member. All right, now why is India reluctant to be a part of it? Is because under the present government, India has a dehyphenation policy, which implies that India has relations with both Israel as well as Palestine, although India has greater relations with Israel. All right, and then India is set to have a meeting with his Israeli counterpart. So naturally, and India does undertake many defense and water irrigation related pacts, trade with Israel. So India does not wish to undertake anything which in any way disrupts India's relation with Israel. All right, so India was present at the meeting, but India was present in the meeting like an observer state. All right, and we did have many countries who participated in it. All right, then also the Prime Minister held meetings with the UN Security Secretary General Antonio Guterres and the leaders of Mauritius and the leaders of other countries to undertake bilateral talks, and has described Mauritius as a vital part of India's Mahasagar vision. Okay, then there was a scheme that the government was undertaking, which was the Sankalp scheme. What is the Sankalp scheme? The Sankalp scheme is skill acquisition and knowledge awareness for livelihood promotion program. Okay, promotion scheme. The purpose is to foster skill development in the country, and through skill development, naturally to enhance the employment opportunities as well as the income opportunities in the country. Now, Public Accounts Committee. This Public Accounts Committee is one of the most important committees in the Parliament, and this particular committee looks into the effectiveness of government spending. They basically ensure that the government spending is undertaken in a concerted and in a utilitarian approach manner. Okay, so PAC was actually established in the year 1921 as per the provisions of the Government of India Act 1919, and PAC has a total of 22 members, out of which 15 members are from the Lok Sabha and 7 members are from the Rajya Sabha. Okay, and as of now, the Public Accounts Committee is headed by senior Congress leader KC Venugopal. Okay, so do go through the article, gives you how that the government had aligned a concerted amount of money, and out of that entire amount of money, the government has not actually undertaken spending along same lines. Okay, then coming to the editorials for today, a wonderful article by Pratap Bhanu Mehta, and here he's actually talked about that how although artificial intelligence is actually ensuring development and transformations in any society, but the one thing that is very, very important here in terms of ensuring that artificial intelligence is used effectively is funds, is infrastructure, is increasing job opportunities, is increasing income opportunities in the country, and that is what it must be looked into. And also how other countries like China, US, etc., they have actually worked along these problems of artificial intelligence, and because of this, artificial intelligence is not negatively impacting their country. So India must also undertake such steps along similar lines. Okay, then another article, editorial on the Pax Silica, that India has joined Pax Silica, and this will significantly help India. One thing is that India is a developing country. India is very new to this technology, very new to this market. So having a seat in the Pax Silica with the leading semiconductor developing countries of the world, such countries who actually undertake massive technological advancements, can give India an upper hand. And then naturally, New Delhi has undertaken various work in terms of building strategic geometry and undertaking semiconductor mission development in the country, developing technologies related to it. So India can also bring significant things on the table to other leaders also. Okay, then this article just gives you an idea as to why India did not choose to become a permanent member in the Trump's Board of Peace, but stayed put as an observer, only because India has a hyphenation and a dehyphenation policy with Israel and Palestine, and India has significant trade deals with Israel in terms of defense, in terms of other technologies. So naturally, India wants to maintain a good relation with Israel, and India will naturally see. India has always vouched for humanism above other things, has always talked about recognition of each other's rights, always talked about a conclusive end to war, always talked about dialogue diplomacy over war. So given such things, India as of now has taken an observer status, and naturally the Prime Minister said to visit Israel to meet his counterpart. That was also one of the things that was stopping the Prime Minister to be a part of Board of Peace. Okay, then this article on the Curie and Joseph Committee report, which has called for a revision in the India's federal structure, giving more powers to the states now and doing away with the quasi-federal structure that India has had since we became an independent country, or since we became a republic. And now we need to reset it, because we need to ensure that better development of the states must be undertaken, and this can be undertaken only when the states are given autonomy to undertake their policies, programs, etc., which was not ensured, or presently is not being ensured, because the governor, as we can see in certain states, specifically in Tamil Nadu, is not assenting to the bills finally, and the bills which are actually trying to bring in greater development of the state is putting the development of the state as well as national development at stake. So a rethinking of the established form of federalism is necessary in the country. Okay, this Curie and Joseph Committee was established by Tamil Nadu to think over the state-center relations. All right, then this very good article basically talks about the pros of being a Gen Z, that how the Gen Z or generation Zoomers belonging to the years 1997 to 2012 and recently have undertaken massive disruptions in the global world order, specifically in India's neighboring regions like Bangladesh and Nepal, with their entire massive protests. And this article basically talks about that how Gen Z are actually taking up geopolitics, and they are significantly attached to issues. They can be radical, they can be detached to certain things as well, which actually plays well in the present geopolitical scenarios, ensuring democratic engagement. Okay, Then today we are celebrating the International Mother Language Day on February 21st. This year the theme is Youth Voices in Multilingual Education. So along these lines, this particular article basically talks about that how India is a multilingual country, how India has around 1600 more than 1300 mother tongues and so many languages that are recognized by the constitution, and why multilingualism can be a major advantage to some country, and then the various steps that India has undertaken in terms of NEP 2020, then NCRT, and then different its translations into various languages, then bringing in Adivani, Bhashini, PM E-Vidya, such initiatives which are undertaking actual acceptance of linguistic diversity of the country. Okay, then coming to the news in brief and terminologies for today. Now we have the fourth son of the former Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth II, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, who was arrested on Thursday, his 66th birthday, in connection to his involvement in the Epstein cases. Okay, now he has been the second, eighth in nine. He has been the second, I think. He has been the second senior member of the British royal family to be arrested. The first one was Charles I in 1649. He was also arrested for treason actually, and then he was eventually beheaded. But he was arrested for his involvement in Epstein cases. All right. Okay. Then Belagram in the Bhandara district of Vidarbha region of Maharashtra. Do keep the name in mind. Belagram has become the first net zero village in the country. Net zero carbon emission village in the country. And this was announced during or highlighted during the Mumbai Climate Week. This was undertaken, and I think it concluded on the 19th of February 2026. Okay. Then Al-Aqsa Mosque, do remember that it is in Jerusalem, and this particular mosque is considered as the third holiest place in Islam. And yesterday, on Friday, which was the first Friday of the holy month of Ramadan, the Muslims they offered their prayers in the outside the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Right, it was this particular mosque only that has been a major bone of contention between Israel and Palestine. Okay. Then also Delhi's Jama Masjid saw a congregation of a large number of people who prayed on the first Friday of Ramzan. Now Friday prayers are known as Jummah Namaz, and Jummah basically is understood as congregational prayers where all Muslim men, they are supposed to meet on the at the local mosque and offer their prayers together. Why? Because one of the principles of Islam is fraternity or brotherhood, and this is how they foster fraternity and brotherhood amongst themselves. All right. And also Jummah is very sacred. Why? Because it was considered that it was on Jummah that Adam was created, and then he was made to enter and then eventually exiled from Jannah, all right, or paradise. Okay, then just one liner, do keep in mind that Poland has officially left the 1997 Anti-Personnel Mine Ban Treaty, also known as the Ottawa Convention. Okay, then just wanted to flag the term zakat for you all. Zakat means charity. Okay, and it is basically imperative that Muslims during the month of Ramadan, they are supposed to undertake charity. They are supposed to give as much of alms as they can to poor people or people who don't have access to resources. Okay, and this zakat is not a new practice. It has been in practices many years since the inception of Islam. All right. Then just one more thing that I wanted to flag for you all, that for the first time, Jammu and Kashmir has actually qualified for the Ranji Trophy, and now is one of the contenders in the Ranji Trophy. Okay, finals, in the Ranji Trophy finals. All right. So this was everything for today's Roznama, and I believe it was nice and short and crisp today. We had pretty interesting new stuff. And I'll see you soon with the next one. Thank you.